Okay, in this video we're just going to have a look at how much ProRes we can fit onto one SSD drive. So we've kind of done this before with the MP4 and MOV containers, but with ProRes, you know, we mentioned before that if you haven't got an SSD drive, you're really not going to fit very much onto the camera unless you're maybe using the HD setting for it. But with SSD, obviously, we've got a much cheaper and larger option for kind of shooting and storing video. So what we're going to do is just have a look at how much we can store onto this drive, which is a 1 terabyte drive, but the camera supports 2 terabyte. So everything we look at, we can just double to know what the maximum we can get onto the largest possible drive is. So if you don't know about SSD recording, I'll link up into the corner about sort of how you can do it, but we're not really going to cover that. We're just going to switch the drive on and sort of quickly go in and see what we've got available. So if we come back to the video mode, we'll switch into Apple ProRes, and you can see here we've got a few different options. So we'll start with the 25 frames a second HD. This might vary slightly on your kind of system frequency, and on my one I've got 17 hours 37 minutes. So if you're shooting in that, a 1 terabyte drive obviously is absolutely fine. That's a whole weekend of filming there, so you don't need to worry at all if you're shooting in that. Like I say, you realistically you can actually do that on an SD card, a good V90, or you can do it on CF Express, and then the rest of these all really need to be shot on CF Express or SSD. But so this one, so we're looking at here, we've got the HQ version, so 422 HQ. We come back, we've got 11 hours 44, so again more than enough to shoot a day. You're not going to need more than that to shoot a day. 50 frames, 8 hours 48, again more than enough. And remember, if we can double these for if we are using a 2 terabyte drive, so we really at this point we don't actually need to do that. HQ just under 6 hours, so if you think about it, we'd be looking at just under 12 hours on the 2 terabyte drive, and that's for full HD 422 HQ. And then the next one we come up to is C4K25 422. We click on that, and then this is where the times start to come down a little. So if I would probably say if you're planning on shooting this, then you know you're either going to need a couple of 1 terabyte drives, or one 2 terabyte drive will get you 8 hours of shooting out of that. So if you're planning on shooting 4K ProRes, then the 2 terabyte drive really is the better option for you. I'll link the drives down in the description of this video, the supported drives, and you know, you can kind of take a look at pricing and things. That at the moment they're actually coming down in price quite nicely, so it's not too expensive, and it's certainly cheaper than CF Express cards. So the next one we've got is C4K25 422 HQ, and then this is where it sort of quite dramatically starts to come down. We've got 2 hours 44, so you're looking at, you know, just short of 6 hours on the 2 terabyte drive for that. And C4K 50 frames a second 422, it'll come back up again now a little. Oh no, actually, sorry, what are we looking at there? 42. Oh sorry, yeah, because we're on 50 frames. Yeah, C4K 50 frames 422. 2 hours and 3 minutes, so this is where it's really starting to kind of get squeezed, even on the on this SSD drive. So you're going to get 4 hours of that. 4 hours 4K 50 on a 2 terabyte SD, that would be SSD. C4K 50 422 HQ, 1 hour 22, so you're looking at less than 3 hours if you're looking at filming 422 HQ in C4K. And then, but I mean, you know, realistically, these are very, very big file formats at this point. So it's, yeah, you might not be shooting a kind of a full day on this, but it all depends. Everybody works differently. But and then the next one, 5.7K, 25 frames a second, 422. We get 2 hours 5 out of that. So we get a half day shooting, 4 hours out of a 2 terabyte drive, or 2 hours out of a 1 terabyte drive. And then we'll go up to Open Gate, which is Sorry, you can't shoot open gate in ProRes. Sorry, it's 5.7K, 25 frames, 42 HQ. So it's just the 5.7 at 42 HQ, and then we've got 1 hour 23. So you've got less than 3 hours there on a 2 terabyte drive. So it's yeah, you kind of you're looking really up to about C4K, probably 25 really for a full day of shooting. Otherwise you need to be really looking at multiple drives for doing kind of long form shooting. But for short clips or short you know, bits of kind of B-roll, or just shooting like the odd interview or something like that, you should really be perfectly fine on either drive. But I think if you're going to be working in these higher modes, then certainly look at getting the 2 terabyte drive over the 1 terabyte. For me, the 1 terabyte drive is fine because I'm mostly working in the MOV or MOV container, so I don't worry too much about that. But for ProRes, you know, the more space you can get, the better, really, for the most part. So yeah, I'd probably recommend the 2 terabyte, and like I say, I'll leave some links in the description for the drives that Panasonic kind of recommends that that you use with a camera. There's no word of any bigger drives being compatible on there. 2 terabyte is the maximum limit. So yeah, stick within that, because if you plug in a drive that's over 2 terabytes, it's just not going to work. You just get a message saying that it doesn't work. So stick within that limit and try to stick to the recommended drives. I'll leave a link in there for the recommended ones as well. So yeah, hopefully that's helped. If it has, give the video a like. If you want to see more content on the Panasonic GH6, check out the playlist on this channel, and please subscribe.